History remembers him as the devil from hell, a pope who plunged the Holy See into an abyss of depravity. His name was Benedict IX, and his reign remains a chilling testament to the corrupting allure of power. How did a man, ordained to embody the pinnacle of Christian virtue, become a byword for scandal and vice? What can we learn from this dark chapter in church history? Let us delve into the shadows of the 11th century and uncover the truth behind Benedict, the boy pope who cast a long shadow over the papacy. The year was 1032, a time of great upheaval and transformation in Europe. Europe, a tapestry of emerging kingdoms and powerful duchies, revolved around the Catholic Church, which was the central pillar of society and governance. The papacy, the epicenter of Christendom, held immense spiritual and political sway, influencing kings and commoners alike. It was into this world rife with ambition and intrigue that Benedict VI was born into the powerful Tusculan family, a lineage known for its formidable influence. Their influence within the church was absolute, their grip on the papacy, vice-like, ensuring their dominance in ecclesiastical matters. Thus, when the papal throne became vacant, the young Benedict, a mere boy in his early 20s, was thrust into the role of God's representative on earth, a position for which he was woefully ill-prepared, both in age and experience. His election, orchestrated by his family's machinations, sent shockwaves through the church as many questioned the legitimacy of such a young pope. Whispers of bribery and coercion followed him to the throne of St. Peter, casting a shadow over his papacy from the very beginning. Little did anyone know that this was just the prelude to a papacy that would shake the foundations of Christendom, leading to one of the most controversial and tumultuous periods in the history of the Church. Benedict IX's pontificate was a stark departure from the sanctity expected of his office. The halls of the Vatican, once echoing with prayers and hymns, became synonymous with debauchery and revelry. Benedict, far from being a shepherd to his flock, seemed determined to indulge in every earthly pleasure imaginable. Tales of his excesses spread like wildfire throughout Rome and beyond. His nights were filled with lavish banquets where gluttony and drunkenness reigned supreme. His days were consumed by hunting expeditions and frivolous pursuits, far removed from the spiritual needs of his flock. The papacy under Benedict II had become a playground for the gratification of one man's desires. As Benedict's excesses spiraled, so too did the church's coffers dwindle. To fund his lavish lifestyle, he resorted to simony, the buying and selling of church offices, a sin deemed heretical by the church itself. Bishoprics and cardinalships were auctioned off to the highest bidders, regardless of their piety or qualifications. Benedict's greed knew no bounds. He even dared to sell the papacy itself, not once but twice. In 1044, after facing mounting opposition from within the church, he struck a deal with his godfather, Giovanni Graziano, who became Pope Gregory VI. However, Benedict's retirement was short-lived. He soon regretted his decision, and with the backing of his powerful family, forcefully reclaimed the papacy. Within the walls of the Vatican Debauchery and Desecration, the Lateran Palace, the official residence of the Pope, became a stage for unspeakable acts. Rumors spread like wildfire through the dark, cobbled streets of Rome, whispers of orgies fueled by wine and lust taking place within the very heart of the holy residence. Stories of sacred rituals twisted into blasphemous mockeries, performed under the watchful eyes of a corrupt pontiff. Benedict, it was said, surrounded himself with individuals of questionable morals, individuals who encouraged and enabled his descent into darkness. His pontificate became a breeding ground for vice, a stark contrast to the piety and humility expected of the Vicar of Christ. The moral abyss. a crisis of faith and leadership. Benedict IX's reign represented a nadir in papal history. His actions shook the very foundations of the Church, leaving an indelible stain on the papacy. How could a man ordained to lead the faithful descend into such depravity? How could the Church, the supposed beacon of light in a dark world, allow such corruption to fester at its core? Benedict's papacy serves as a chilling reminder of the corrupting nature of power. Even within institutions that claim moral authority, it highlights the dangers of unchecked ambition and the ease with which spiritual leadership can be subverted for personal gain. Echoes of the past Benedict IX's legacy. Benedict IX's tumultuous reign finally ended in 1045 when he was forced to abdicate for the third and final time. He left behind a church in turmoil, its reputation tarnished, its moral authority severely weakened. His papacy served as a catalyst for reform, igniting calls for greater accountability and piety within the church hierarchy. The shadow of Benedict IX's papacy loomed large over his successors. It underscored the need for a radical overhaul of the church's structure and a return to its spiritual roots. The reforms initiated in the wake of his reign would have a profound impact on the church's trajectory, leading to the investiture controversy and the subsequent struggle between the papacy and secular rulers. The enduring question, faith amidst corruption. Benedict IX's story raises uncomfortable questions about the nature of faith and the resilience of belief in the face of institutional corruption. His papacy, marked by scandal and moral decay, challenges the very foundation of what it means to be a spiritual leader. How can one reconcile the existence of a depraved pope with the belief in a just and merciful God? This paradox has troubled theologians and believers alike for centuries, forcing a deeper examination of the essence of faith. How does one maintain faith when the very institution that claims to represent God on earth is marred by sin and scandal? The disillusionment can be profound, shaking the core of one's spiritual beliefs. Perhaps the answer lies in recognizing that the Church, for all its divine aspirations, is ultimately a human institution, susceptible to the same failings and foibles that plague humanity. This perspective allows for a more nuanced understanding of faith. Faith in its truest sense should not be blind allegiance to an institution, but rather a personal relationship with the divine, one that transcends the imperfections of human-led organizations. A relationship that can withstand even the most tumultuous of times. It is this personal connection with the divine that offers solace and strength, even when the earthly representatives of faith falter. Learning from the dark side of power. Benedict IX's papacy stands as a stark reminder of the perils of unchecked power and the need for constant vigilance against corruption. His reign, marked by scandal and controversy, highlights the dangers that arise when authority is wielded without accountability. It teaches us that no institution, however sacred or powerful, is immune to the temptations of greed, ambition, and the abuse of authority. Even the most revered establishments can fall prey to the darker aspects of human nature if left unchecked. It underscores the importance of accountability, transparency, and the rule of law, even within the seemingly impenetrable walls of religious institutions. These principles are not just modern ideals, but timeless necessities for any society that seeks to thrive. By confronting the dark side of history, we gain a deeper understanding of the complexities of human nature and the ever-present potential for both good and evil. This reflection allows us to learn from past mistakes and strive for a more just and equitable future. The story of Benedict IX, the boy pope who betrayed his sacred trust, serves as a cautionary tale for all time. His actions remind us that youth and inexperience, when combined with immense power, can lead to disastrous consequences. It is a reminder that power, whether secular or spiritual, must always be tempered by wisdom, compassion, and an unwavering commitment to the greater good. Only then can we hope to build a world where justice and integrity prevail.